belong to a different company, and we're like having a rivalry with them. So we were like, yeah, fuck the Messiah. Yeah, good job, you did it. We called him like drone hunter and stuff.
This seems to be a problem with the Ukrainians as well, where it's hard to identify whose drones are who.
Yeah.
There's just not a good method of that currently, so
Yeah.
I can see that's still a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just not worth the risk.
Now, are you still seeing those drones this late in the war from the enemy, or is it kind of slowed down?
Much
There's
fewer.
a lot fewer.
We've denied them a lot of the places where their drone operators can operate a drone from, basically, as far as good fortified buildings and buildings that are close to their tunnels. And it's kind of a very high-risk, low-reward activity to leave the safety of a tunnel to go and position yourself in a spot where you have a direct line of sight to the drone, which means you're either going to be in a window or you're going to be out in the open, just so that you can get reconnaissance on a drone. It would have to be part of a much bigger attack, and just there's not a lot of ROI on it, you know?
Now, when it comes to tunnels, you guys have talked about that a few times. We're not talking about the tunnels in New York from those other Jews. I'm just fucking with you. How are you guys dealing with those? How are those typically assaulted? How are those taken care of? What are you doing with those?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do with them, but like on the immediate level and in the dealing with them on a deeper level, which we can't talk about.
Sure.
For sure, that'll definitely get censored. But on an immediate level, it's basically just adds, like when you're in urban combat, you have the stuff that's on your eyesight, and then you have all the above. So now you also have the below, basically.
Yeah.
So on one hand, you're basically expecting people to pop out, not just from behind corners and around doors. People could come out literally from a tunnel, so they could pop their head up. When you're inside a tunnel, I guess it's probably pretty disorienting to know what's going on above you.
Sure.
So sometimes people can pop up and take a while to orient themselves. But basically, you're looking for suspicious things, and there's a lot of things that look like tunnels in Gaza. There's really bad sewage infrastructure.
Yeah.
So a lot of them just dig sewage drainage pits outside of their houses and then cover them, obviously, because you don't want your kids falling into a pit of sewage.
Yeah.
So they cover them with a piece of wood and then sometimes some trash, just because they're Arabs and like making piles of trash. So then you get to that and you say, oh shit, is this a tunnel? You start take a grappling hook, you start pulling stuff away. You're like, oh my god, it's got a wooden cover. You're like, oh my god, wooden cover. You get the drone and you pull that off and you throw in a grenade and then you send in a drone to look and you're like, yeah, it's just full of shit. And sometimes the drone loses connection and falls into shit, but that's
So you are sending drones into tunnels then?
in a limited sense because the connection capabilities, and there are drones that are better suited for that. But yeah, I'm not sure. In my unit, we don't have much, and we probably can't talk about that.
Yep, I understand fully.
As an infantryman, for us, we're basically just finding the tunnels and making sure no one's coming out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And the most we're going to do is throw a couple grenades down there or something. And then we're going to leave it to professionals to take care of that.
Until a tunnel is taken care of, and special forces units that deal with that kind of sensitive thing, infantry's just going to be, like Lev said, pointing their rifles at the threat.
Maybe taking selfies.
Yeah, taking selfies.
Let's talk a little bit about how you guys are reacting to contact. What are the typical engagement distances you guys are seeing? How are you putting down fire superiority? How does it work with the IDF or with your teams in particular?
So in general, once contacted, an entire team will search for cover or just get down and return fire. Generally, we're getting contacted from pretty far ranges.
What would you say, like in meters?
We're talking like 100, like above 150 usually is what we're dealing with. From shooting from afar, snipers, RPGs, they tend to get pretty close. Those guys like to get in close so that they can be accurate. More like 50 under the hundreds.
No, we had enough. Yeah, I mean they do that a lot, which is difficult for tanks to deal with, but like for the trophy system to deal with and stuff for really close shots. But they shot at a tank that was right outside of our building, hit it with an RPG from I think like 200 meters or something. It was like a really far shot, and I think part of that is because they realized that once we get up to where they are, there's going to be like an overwhelming amount of fire on them. So they kind of want to shoot and then get out of there.
When you say sniper fire, are you talking from AKM or specialized weapon systems?
When I say sniper fire, they're using M24s.
Interesting.
Some Dragunovs also, but generally it's been M24s. What I've seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of snipers, which is strange because you'd think that they'd be very prolific in an urban scenario like that, but
you really would.
Just a lot of pot shots from AKs and stuff. A lot of the times if you're engaged from far away, sometimes there's not even anything you will do about it. You kind of get cover, so it's kind of like a reminder, I should probably not be like sticking my head out. You know what I mean? Yeah, like if you're engaged from really far away, if there's just bullets coming over your head, you're gonna try to figure out, use the tools you have to figure out who's shooting you, if it's friendly, if it's not friendly, and then have someone do something about it. But it might not be in your area. Like if I'm being shot at from 300 meters away, and that's a direction of fire that I'm definitely close to because there's a friendly unit over there, so we're just gonna tell them, and they're gonna deal with it. They're probably already dealing with it, So like, but definitely, yeah, get some cover, figure out what's going on, make sure that all your angles are covered, because sometimes they'll try to give you some fire to keep you down, and then they're gonna send out an attack, or they're gonna wait for you to come into the attack. So
how's it been for you as far as recognizing when the shots are coming towards you, or whether the shots are just the general background of what's going on, like
Very
recognizing the chatter of different weapons?
So once you spent some time, like I have to say, when I first went into Gaza, I didn't really know that. I knew that different calibers have different sounds, but once you're living it day to day and you're hearing the gunfire of the tanks and the Apaches, and you just get to know that every gun has its own voice, and the AK-47 is just you can spot it in just a fire of an array of weapons. You'll hear that crack. You'll be like, that's enemy fire. And if it's not in your quadrant, then you're gonna get on the comms and you're gonna let the relevant battalion know.
yeah, although in urban warfare it can get really confusing with all the echoes off of buildings.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hear who's shooting and from where. And very often you're kind of just aware that a firefight or something is happening somewhere, because you hear a lot of fire coming from one area. You try to kind of figure out what's going on, and then maybe you might see like the 669 rescue helicopters coming in, and then we have injured people, or you'll just hear something interesting about it on the radio. And then you have, do you guys have a radio station with like Radio Halal? You have that?
Yeah. We're hardcore on the radios.
The name of it. Basically,
Whenever you're on guard duty, you just got this little mini radio next to you.
No, I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about, we had basically, like, everyone wants to know what's going on all the time, right? So we ended up just having once a day at like 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. like on one of the radios, like one of the radio bandwidths, someone just gave the news for the whole day.
Oh,
it was great. Like, we found these terrorists and killed them. This guy got injured. We found a tunnel here. We found this. We found this.
Yeah, we would do
and
that
everyone's
too.
just listening to it. They're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so we had a guy.
Yeah, Radio Halal.
So we had a guy who would also give the sports news for soccer for all the Israelis, and he would just right after he goes after the day's updates of what actually is relevant, tactically. He starts going. He also did like updates on celebrities. What's Eden Benzakan doing?
Nobody cares about soccer. Except for the rest of the world.
Yeah, except for the rest of the world.
Except for the rest of the world. Are you into soccer now that you've been in Israel for a while?
I don't give a shit.
Absolutely not.
There we go. Do you guys still like American football?
I don't care about football.
I don't really follow sports now.
There's a little bit of MMA, but like that's about it.
That's fair. That's fair. Cool.
And, yeah.
We let Forkful save us time and money with nutritious meals delivered straight to our door. It takes only 2 minutes to heat up, no preservatives, and no seed oils.
They actually taste like restaurant quality food. That means I actually look forward to every meal.
These are all natural, preservative-free meals with no artificial additives.
So let Forkful take cooking and groceries off your plate.
Join the thousands that trust Forkful today.
Gentlemen, so we have our kit set up on the ground. Right here I have a Cryo-DS. This is a pretty close setup to what I ran in the U.S. military. Obviously, my job was way different. My level of training was different. Everything was different. Your carriers are different in terms of camouflage, in terms of what you have on it, everything. So let's talk a little bit about your kit setups. Let's go ahead and start with you and talk about the hows and whys. People want to know why your kit is set up. You've been fighting for a while. You've probably still got dust on that thing.
Stay
into it.
All right. So I'm running a Agilite K0, running level 4 armor, side plates. As far as ammunition, I usually run around about 6 to 8 mags. I'll run a double mag in the weapon. I'll have another mag on my battle belt, 3 mags here, and then a couple more in my backpack. Medical gear. So medical gear. I'm running 2 tourniquets usually, one over here, and I'll usually keep another one either here or in my pack. And then over here I have a personal bandage. And on my battle belt, so I'm running a personal first aid kit over here. It's got combat gauze and some basic stuff. And then finally, I got these scissors for cutting through uniforms and vests and whatnot. Next, ammunition. Lastly, I have 2 9mm mags over here. Okay, and then I have my personal sidearm.
What are you typically carrying?
I'm typically carrying a Glock 19.
Nice.
All right.
Weapon light, optic?
Yeah, both
times.
Over here we got multi-tool. It's a must-have. It's an SOG. I use it usually to like cut wires, fences. Helps me out sometimes when I'm busting into a building or trying to just get through an area. On that note, as far as breaching and stuff like that, I'm usually running also a cutter in back in my battle pack.
Do you mean like a bolt cutter?
Yeah, bolt cutter. Yeah. Front, we got here red light. This is mostly stuff that I'm going to use like inside a building once we've taken it over. I got some stick lights in here, so you're going to use them to basically mark hazards or anything that needs to be marked. It's useful also for miscellaneous things, like say we have like a detonation cord set up and we don't want guys to step on it. So we'll like cut this and we'll just drizzle a little bit of that glowing liquid on it, and then the team leader will explain to the team that
to use different colors for different things. I understand the tactics, techniques, and procedures between different units or militaries are going to differ heavily, so that's fine. Just understand that Chem 6 are important.
Some stuff we can't say about color marking.
I understand.
Yeah. And finally in here, I always carry some kind of pen or a marker. It's first and foremost for drawing pictures of your teammates on the wall and your commanders. It's also very useful for just, you're going to write, you usually use spray paint, but if you don't have spray paint, you can also use a marker and just start writing different directions so that you know where your friends are and where the enemies are. I'm usually carrying 2 frags on me. As the lead marksman, I was actually running 6 frags at one point. I put 2 on my battle belt, and I put 2 over here, and I put 2 more pouches up here. So I was actually running 6, but 2 is the basic. So this is a new addition to my pack, to my plate carrier. In Gaza, I found that running around with my usual pack, I just was kind of like a turtle, and like when I was opening doors, I was getting stuck with my battle buddy. So I ended up just not taking a pack with me. So this guy's great because it's very minimalist, and it's just carrying hydration bladder and very basic things. I'll usually have a smoke on me as well, which will stick up front. As far as additional gear in the pack, this is something that we use in my team, which we basically keep our batteries in here, spare batteries for each kind of night vision, flashlights, optics. We'll throw in like these little things that absorb the moisture. Another thing that I usually run up front is just 2 spare batteries for immediate optics or nods and thermal. So when I have those and it's daytime, I'm usually going to keep them in my pack.
And then for context for everybody, you are getting resupplies fairly regularly, every 2 days at minimum, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually every day, but
So now they fucked this game up so bad. This thing had hella potential.
You're essentially operating out of a fob.
This is why when you do make a game, if you ever make a game, do not fucking try to be the game's daddy. Let the game mature and do what it wants to do. They got ahead of themselves trying to nerf shit, constantly nerfing things, constantly making adjustments where they didn't need adjustments. And you literally alienated every player because you wanted to be somebody's daddy and be like, oh, you can't have this many grenades. You can't do this, you can't do that. If you do this, then you do that. If you can't do this, then you can't do that. And now, like, there's nothing to do really because you fucking took all the rules. You fucking took a game and tried to put a bunch of rules on it instead of letting the game do what it wants to do. I knew something was up when they started playing around with those fucking drones, trying to make rules about the drones and, oh, you can't do this with the drone. I'm like, ah, here we go. And now look at this shit. Total fucking flop. Like, who really cared that people could get on top of the roof with a fucking drone? Like, did anyone really care? They let those fucking YouTubers run their mouth and fucking create this weird ass narrative, and then those same YouTubers are the ones that fucking galvanize the entire player base. And I mean, through the extension of the galvanization, you know, and literally fucking run this thing to the goddamn ground.
They don't need to look.
And now nobody plays this fucking thing because they wanted to be somebody's daddy.
If I'm lying on my back,
So goddamn fucking bad, bro. What a shame.
On the dangler below. Here I have just a general
Goddamn shame.
pouch. Inside here I got a bunch of goodies. I have a brush for cleaning dust off my gun.
How do you fuck up a game like
that? It's a great opportunity to just sit down and just start
fucking A1 graphics, A1 gunplay,
exactly, and obviously,
and you somehow fuck it up trying to be somebody's daddy, trying to control what people do with their guns. You know, I knew something was up with the attachments when there was like no way to put fucking certain attachments on your gun. I'm like, bro, why do you care how many attachments I put on my gun? Like, what the fuck? Why would you care? Like, like, no, bro. Like, just guaranteed fucking white people shit. You know, white people can't help but fucking trying to be somebody's daddy. You know, they thrive off of that shit, trying to be an authoritative, bunch of authoritative motherfuckers. Be somebody's daddy. Tell you what you can't do, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you like, who made you God? You're not God. Yeah, God. You know, they fucking force people away from them, and that's why this shit is dead, bro. You should be able to put any kind of attachment you want on your gun, as many attachments as you want on your gun, in any kind of configuration that you want on your gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, you know, to be able to carry any kind of grenade you want, whether it be one grenade, whether it be 6 grenades. No one cares how many grenades you got. You know, like shit like that, bro. You know, there should be multiple types of grenades. You know what I mean? There should be at least 5 different types of grenades. You know, like, you know, shit like that, bro. That really would open up the gameplay, open up the style of gameplay, open up the configurations and the individuality of the gameplay. You know what I mean? Which will draw people in. You know, shit like that, bro. Like, very simple, you know, very simple things that, you know, go a long way. But no, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, no running in the halls, you know, fucking hall monitor ass shit. No running in the halls. Like right now, look how dead this area is. This area should be fucking full of fucking contact. You know, instead it's fucking one way. It's a one-way thing because they move things around. I'm sure they alternated certain areas of the combat zone, and now it's right back where they started with that 1492 shit. You know, and they literally just drag this thing to the fucking ground. And I wouldn't be surprised if they drop a Battlefield 7 and they just kill this title. At this point, watch. Mark my words, they're just gonna kill the title. And drop a Battlefield 7 and act like they didn't do, and then do the same thing all over again. Why?
Great knife. Honestly, just fucking because with a fixed blade, you can anything with it. It gets dirty, you just wash it off. It's not like a folder where it gets in there. And obviously, it's right here in a defensive posture over here on the plate carrier. Super easy to pull out. And you're just always cutting something. If you're like going through a greenhouse, you have to cut through cloth, or if you're honestly, you can even cut because it's serrated. You can really easily.
Because I fucking loved the game at first, but now even I'm starting to be like, ah, this is lame.
And
turn this shit off. The vibe isn't there. Same old shit, same way of doing it, no way of, you know, really configuring. You know what I mean? It takes the individuality out of the game, you know? Which is crazy to me, because if you would have told me this game would have flopped, I would have been like, nah, this joint's gonna be a blockbuster. But it literally flopped, bro. They're literally flopping it as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Literally flopping it down. With a game that's actually got cool ass gunplay. The gunplay is fucking bar none the best gun, you know, since Counter-Strike damn near. You know what I mean? Like, the gunplay is crispy as shit. But you can't do anything. You know, everything you try to do is like, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. If you do this, then you can't do that. You're not allowed to do this. That's against the rules. Like, bro, there's no rules. It's a video game. Like, how do you put rules into a video game? Like, who does that?
Here I have
White people.
for my gun.
White people shit.
This is the same gun.
You know, you can't speed. There's speeders. There's a bunch of kids outside having a good time. That's against the rules. We're gonna put a curfew. You got a curfew.
TLR 7A on the front because this is also my PC gun that I appendix carry.
All your pistols are personally procured.
Oh, white people shit, bro. Like, that's all they did, bro. Is try to put rules on shit so they can try to be somebody's fucking daddy. Well, not no one's daddy. You know, you barely can maintain and manage your own selves, let alone think you're gonna manage the fucking planet. You filthy fucking animals. Yeah.
This is empty right now, but this is usually has about 100.
Like, real talk, bro. This shit is so wild, bro.
Of ammo for the saw.
Now their game is a flop. But I'll never put $1 on it. Whatever that $60 that they got for me to buy this shit, they better not spend it all in one place because they'll never get another single dollar out of me from any other part of this shit, bro. Like, and that's sad, bro.
One for the pistol, one for the
That's really sad, bro.
I just found out that I was sitting so much on the ground that it just
This time next year, they'll be dropping a trailer for Battlefield 7. Watch.
So I switched to
They're just gonna drop this. Instead of this being a 4-year, 5-year cycle, you're gonna get 2 years out of this thing. By 2027, 2028, there'll be a whole new game that they're fucking dumping on you. You know what I'm saying? They already said they fired a lot of people from the studio. And like, yeah, they're killing it as we speak. You know, you'll get like 2 seasons. You know, you got this one season, you'll get the next year's season, and then it's a fucking wrap.
I don't have a light on the side. Oh, this is actually really sick, and I might start doing this. It's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have the Core Survival strobe on mine as well. In the back, I sometimes keep, like, every once in a while, I'll keep some spare batteries in here or something. I don't have a counterweight per se, but I have used like a box of 5.56 ammo before as a counterweight, which helps me carry ammo also for my battle buddy, who's a marksman. Now, this one is Peltor's, but I'm rocking the Opscore amps. Love them to death. And then, yeah, I have a mount on the front for my binos. And during the day, what I'll usually do is I'll open up my assault pack. My assault pack, by the way, Hill People Gear Terra Humera.
So good.
Great pack. I got this because I used to do a lot of mountain biking. So basically what I have over here in my assault pack is another drum. And then I have this case that some Trijicon optic or something came in. And what I do with this case is I keep my night vision in here. So it's like super protected. And then during the, at night, I will take out my night vision and I'll put my GoPro into here with my dark glasses. And just keep those glasses 100% protected from the elements. In here, I also have a single, like usually 1 or 2. Right now I have one tan sandbag. This is like a multi-purpose thing. Obviously, if you need to entrench in a hurry, that you weren't planning on it, it's good to have everyone carrying sandbags. But mostly what we do is if we're searching houses, looking for intelligence stuff, looking for like maps, radios, IDs, papers, whatever. So for each house, we'll put that stuff in one of these bags and then write the house number on the bag and then tie it up with a zip tie, and then we can give that to intelligence officers and it's super organized for them, and then they like us. I have a Platypus 2-liter water bottle. These are great. This isn't always in my assault pack, but if I do want to carry extra water here, I'll do it in here. I got a marker, and like you said, got to write north, south, east, west, and everything on all the doors. A charger cable for my thermal. Thermal isn't here, I didn't bring it, but I just have a little handheld AGM thermal, and it's usually full of snacks, which is super important. Yeah.
And what's the best snack to bring?
Beef jerky, great. Snickers,
Chocolate, like some weird Hebrew word or something like that.
just a hummus, just a pocket full of hummus. You know, fill up the pocket, and then you just reach and get a handful.
Squeeze it out.
Squeeze it out of your
I
hand.
like to fill up a hydration bladder with tahini.
Yeah.
Tahini.
Yeah. So that's my setup basically.
Yeah. Awesome. Gentlemen, I also want to note that all of your gear is green. So this is standardized across IDF. This is for friendly force identification, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's super important. Can I talk about that for a second?
Please.
So basically, this is always an issue we're running into in reserves, where somebody will, instead of using their like issued green jacket, they'll say like, well, I have this wonderful black jacket at home. I have like a North Face jacket or something. Show up with that, and then you have this bad situation where, you know, someone else, like maybe a tank, is looking through his night vision sights or something, just sees a guy running around with a plate carrier and black jacket, and we're all supposed to be wearing green, so it's super dangerous. Super important to stay standardized with the colors. Even if it means you can't have your swag jacket. Yeah.
You know, there's different ways of friendly force identification. Ukraine sell a lot of tape with the idea it's all just ranger green across the board. Yeah. Pretty simple.
Discipline, keeping your helmet on.
Yeah.
At all times.
What, do you guys wear the chef's hat?
Hate it. Get stuck on so much stuff.
So that thing's, you know, it's supposed to be used for open warfare, you know,
okay.
like, open field stuff. So in urban warfare, a lot of people take them off.
Yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense.
It's not really doing you any favors.
For sure. All right, gentlemen. Well, we've gone through all of our gear. Let's go ahead and get into our first topic, which is going to be basic urban movement. So right here, we're going to be talking about basic urban combat movement. Gentlemen, I know you have a lot to talk about here, so please take it away.
All right. Our positions in our teams are lead machine gunners and lead marksman. What that means is that we lead the movement of the team, and sometimes more than that. As the company. Part of the job description is just looking out for all possible threats, whether it's suspicious things on the ground, some bombs, booby traps, landmines. You know, you're also looking at the windows in an urban environment. You know, you have buildings on all sides, so we kind of split it up. Like he's going to be on the left, I'm going to be on the right, so we divide the work between.
Good job, team. Top scores.
Right, and watching top left, and also both watching the forward advancement of our team.
In terms of
go ahead, Lev. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that. Also, anytime we stop for a second, say we get to like a corner of a building, and we're not moving forward yet, so we'll usually in between us. At least with my battle buddy, what we would do is we'd create common language. Basically, we'll say like, that's the big house, that's this, that's this. You're gonna take from the left of this. I'm gonna take from the right of this for now, or I'll take the bottom, like the first floor of these two houses, and you take the second floor of these two houses.
Dividing it up between us, it's critical. Just we're two guys, we can cover more ground. So dividing the work between us is a good way to go.
And passing that on when the next people come and switch us out if we're moving like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just as soon as they come, telling them, okay, you're looking at this area, you're looking at this area. That's it.
Always making sure the cover stays constant.
In terms of windows, you talked about watching those. What are some typical things you're watching for? Besides the obvious of a person being in a window, are there any other indicators that there might be a threat that might be coming to that window?
So cameras is a good one. In general, just looking for long objects that are sticking out the window that could, you know, indicate an RPG or some kind of ambush.
Do they do any of the veils similar to what we do, like a few feet behind the window, the slanted veil at 45 to kind of catch light and kind of conceal things inside of it?
They can get pretty creative.
I haven't seen that from them, but we
in general, you're always looking for something that's out of place.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, if there's a neighborhood that's kind of been evacuated a couple weeks ago, and then you see a house that suddenly has like there's like a hole in the wall and it's been patched up or something, so you kind of think like, who patched that up? Like, why? Who's here?
Also knowing your environment, like, you know, after you've been there for a week or so, you know, in Gaza, for example, all the buildings are just, you know, bombed out. So all of a sudden you find a building, you open a corner and you see a building that's untouched. That stands out, and that's something that you're going to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Also within buildings, like I was in a couple of buildings where you go in, you're clearing rooms, you get to a door, and you see the door has already been kicked in before. And like, if you're the first soldiers going into that room, that's obviously a little bit weird. You don't know if it's looters or if it's Hamas moving through houses looking for good emplacements. So you always want to treat that carefully and just assume that someone else has been in that house recently.
Gentlemen, now, I know you guys is pretty basic, but would you mind showing us some of your basic movement techniques, actually showing as lead marksman and lead gunner how that would look like for the audience as you're watching for street? Obviously, we are in the middle of Idaho, so we're going to pretend there are buildings, but if you could do that for us.
All right, so let's just imagine that this right down here in the middle is a street. You have buildings on that side, buildings on that side, and then more dense buildings like a Kasbah, which is like a dense sort of marketplace over there. So basically, this is where we would not want to be. We would never be standing here in the middle of this. What we would probably do is have a tank come in here, maybe a D9 bulldozer, come through first, clear the street looking for mines, and then we would be going through the houses on the side over there, either literally going through the houses one at a time through the walls, or we'd be going around them, between them basically. So let's kind of show that. Let's pretend like there's a row of houses over there. Let's talk about how we work together as the lead machine gunner and lead designated marksman. Imagine this is basically a wall of buildings over here. let's just say that we have a tank over here doing cover on this wall, and you have people in the houses on the other side of the street on the same pace as us who are looking at these windows up here. So we're going to be right up against the wall. We're going to be focusing forward and to the left, basically, looking for targets, moving forward, and communicating with our platoon commander who's right behind us.
Do you have any spacing off the wall, or are you guys right up against them?
It depends. It's kind of a balance on where you feel there's more danger coming from. Because I'd probably rather be up against the wall than to be, more out in the street. And also wherever you can, if you ever stop, get low, get as low as you can. Look for stuff to get behind. So basically, if you want to move along there, I'll just follow you. You're moving along. You're looking forward. I'm looking there. To the sides. Moving along, and I can say, stop. Wait a second. Wait a second. See that over there? And there's something weird about that vehicle parked next to it. Was that there earlier? Yes. Scanning. All right. Cool. Check out that. Let me talk to the man real quick. Yo, there's a weird vehicle right over there. You see it? That one? Want to send the drone over there? We'll check it out. All right, he's sending the drone. Want to move over? Right here. Want to move over deeper into there and get some better cover on the right over here? Let's do it. Yeah, you go first. You go first. Go ahead. All right. Coming. All right, drop down here. You want to get right behind that little thing up there? Let's do it. Yeah, all right, go ahead. All right, drop low. Are you going over there? All right. Now, basically, we've gotten to a situation where we can now check out what's going on up there. We obviously our platoon commander is going to take control of that. We're just assuming a kind of defensive position, but it's a little bit aggressive up here. So we're in a position where we're controlling the threat over there. We're able to put down fire if we need to. And now in the back, they're going to bring up the drone. The drone guy's going to set up. We're in a good spot. Platoon commander is going to talk on the radio, tell everyone else to wait for a second. We're checking something out. They can go and check it out.
See, the gameplay on here is like fucking crispy if they would just like open it up. Add a little bit more attachments, add some more explosive weapons, things of that nature. More prototype weaponry, things of that nature, bro. This
it's very dynamic.
they could really take this thing far if they would fucking do it. They keep bullshitting.
Last like 7-8 years. So we basically we know each other so well that we don't even have to talk about it most of the time. We're able to say like, I'm over there, that house, I'm on the left, you're on the right, and that's it. And it's also kind of when you walk for a long time with the point guys in the front and the platoon commander in between and in the back, you just kind of get a sense, like a sixth sense of where he is behind you and everything, and you work together very well. So yeah, it's not like, I wouldn't say it's always this guy looking here, this guy looking here. It's very dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. Gentlemen, well, let's get over to the rooms right here. Let's talk about coming across alleyways, coming across windows, and coming across rooms.
Yeah. So before you enter a room, one more thing about the movement on the street. When choosing which side to be on the street, you also another threat factor is the sturdiness of the buildings. Some buildings have just gotten shot up so bad that they're just, one little away from just falling down. It actually happened, we were waiting at a corner. I was leading my team, and right in front of me, I see like about a 7-8 story tall building, and it didn't even get shot or anything. It just, out of nowhere, just collapsed on itself. And there was another team of ID ordnance guys walking past it, and I was sure 2 of them got squished. But luckily they were on the other side, and they missed it by this much. Part of the job description for lead guys is keeping the rest of the team away from the hazards. Yeah. And that's a big one.
Also, a tank firing next to you can put a shockwave that'll knock down a house, also knock down a wall.
Yeah.
By the way, something that's good to note here is that, assuming that this was a big kill zone, our only option isn't just to sprint across it. You can bring up a D9 bulldozer. You can build little combat emplacements along the way, just little berms of dirt, and then you can leapfrog from those, and you can add those in basically. If you're missing a certain angle, you just have a D9 throw up some dirt, and you can set up a machine gunner over there on that angle and get really good cover.
The use of the D9 is very specific to the IDF. I haven't really seen those outside in other military usage. You want to speak to that a little bit? It's a very interesting combat technique.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're invaluable. Really, they're like first of all, they got some balls sitting like 3 meters up in the air or whatever.
What is D9 first off?
It's a Cat D9 bulldozer that's been up armored significantly. It's got a hook on the back, It's got a huge shovel in the front. It's got a cage on it. Usually I have two guys in there, like a commander and an operator, and basically they're just there to help out with everything. They can peel a wall off of a house for you so you can see what's inside. They can create a breaching hole by basically just peeling off a bit of a house. They can knock down walls. They can clear trees. They can clear anything basically. Like they could drag like 10 telephone poles behind them. It's pretty ridiculous. And they're just, if you find a tunnel, you can use them to check the entrance for mines because they're almost always mined. Sometimes you can find a tunnel because a D9 will just randomly like explode a little bit. I say explode a little bit because they don't even, like sometimes the D9 operators don't even notice when they run over a mine because you have like an anti-personnel mine or something. It just makes a little explosion. The guy's sitting in like a 40-ton machine or 50-ton machine or something. Doesn't always necessarily feel it, but that's a good way to find tunnels sometimes. And basically you can just use them also to make embankments, you can make fortification. If you're forced to sleep outside somewhere in the middle of open field and you haven't gotten yet into buildings, you can have D9s build you, it's called a Mignan, which is like 3 or 4 walled just fortification of dirt walls.
Build you a trench.
Exactly, they can dig some small trenches.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned up-armored bulldozers. I'd say Americans know a thing or two about bulldozers. The killdozer. Truly, it is a very interesting concept, and it's something to take away because it's been incredibly effective for the IDF and during urban combat.
Yeah, no, they're incredibly effective, and we gotta protect them basically. So one of the things that IDF has done a lot better in this war than in the previous war in Gaza is just really good dynamic work between tanks, D9s, bulldozers, the Air Force,
infantry.
Infantry, everyone, basically, because it's your job as infantry. Like infantry and tanks basically cannot support themselves. Like tanks need close infantry support, and literally by close as in someone pointing their gun barrel at the tank. Because sometimes a guy will run up, come out of a corner, come out of a house, come out of a tunnel, run up to a tank with a magnet mine or with an explosive mine, shove it on the tank, and get out of there. And then you either try to shoot him before he gets to the tank, shoot him obviously after he gets to the tank. It's always a good idea to shoot him in general. But you can also shoot at the mine. And sometimes people have knocked magnet mines off of tanks because they're basically RPG warheads that are inverted and magneted on. And if they're not facing into the tank armor, they're basically just making a big explosion.
People might think of a magnetic mine as some very complex thing, but it's literally as simple as taking some rare earth magnets and gluing them to something that's explosive and slapping those onto a vehicle.
But if you're in Hamas, it's very complicated. You'll never figure it out. Don't even try.
As the lead gunners, we're the first guys stepping into new territory, into enemy territory. So one of the things that help us out is walking where other armored vehicles or other people have walked. For example, tank treads, vehicle treads. That's going to be something that we just stick to that, and we're less worried about landmines and stuff like that.
It doesn't mean we're going to walk on a road, though. So if there's just a road that's there, we prefer to walk next to the road than on the road.
That's right.
Because the road is a classic place instead of an ambush for an armored vehicle.
Okay, so right here we have a simulated building. Obviously, these aren't real walls. They simulate walls that way you can see through. For filming purposes, it's all protected.
So basically the scenario here is that we're going into another house to search it and clear it and move forward through the territory. So basically this simulates like either a berm or just like a piece of debris that we're using as cover. There's already going to be a hole in the wall that's not a door because we don't go through doors. We make our own doors basically, so it's either going to be a breaching charge that we've ran up, laid, come back and blown, or it's going to be a hole from a tank round, or it's going to be maybe a D9 went in there and scraped off a little bit of the wall.
Why are you guys not using doors?
Doors are just super easy to, everyone predicts that people are going to go through doors, right? No one's going to just booby trap every single inch of the wall in their house. So when you go into the wall, much higher chance that you're going through a clean piece of the house.
Awesome.
Jakob! יואב, יאללה, בוא ניכנס לבית הזה, בוא ניתן מכת אש קטנה על הקירות, על הבית בכללי מסביב, נתפס על הפינה הימנית שם ונדחוף פנימה. יאללה. יאללה. יאללה, בלעליק! יאללה! חפץ! יאללה, over there. אני איתך, ready? ריבון! 21, 22, 23, כבר מפוצץ! יאללה! ניצור רטוב! יאללה, איכן! ניצור רטוב! נכנסים! יאללה! יאללה! נפל! יאללה! עשית פתח? סוק את הבית! סוק את הבית, אני מחפה! סוק! Nati! Is anything in the house in your area? Nope, we're clear. Alright, let's go, let's bring it some guys. Let's get it done. יעקב, תקרא למ"מ, תגיד לו שיכניס את החבר'ה. יאללה. נתי, אפשר להיכנס.
Good job, mate.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Your first war crime.
That's recorded war crime. First time fighting for Israel. So a lot just went on there, gentlemen, and I had no idea what the fuck you were saying. So let's go ahead and just go through it one more time. Not as far as running it, but explain what you do in each position in English.
Sure. So, Jakob, you want to take it away?
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, we're starting in this position. I kind of told him what we're going to do. It doesn't really matter. None of us is in charge of the other, but we're an organic team. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If he has a better idea, he would tell me he has a better idea. I basically just said, we're gonna lay down some fire on the windows and around the building. We're gonna get some heavy fire. We're gonna run up and we're gonna get onto that right close corner here. I'm gonna aim down, you're gonna aim at the door, then we're gonna go throw a grenade and go into the door, basically. So that's exactly what we did. From here, from behind cover, we laid down some suppressive fire. If it was just our team, it would be us, but if we had a tank, we might ask him to pump a couple hundred rounds from the FN mag into there or something. We shot some. Obviously, if this was an actual house with windows, we would shoot into all the windows as well. And if there's anything in the surrounding houses, in the direction of fire that we're allowed to do, because if you have a lot of troops, you're not going to just be shooting every direction. So in our direction of fire, we would shoot anything that looks like there might be someone behind it. So
What's the amount of men that you typically have conducting something like this?
well, we usually go 4 guys into a house because the more people going into the house, the higher the casualty rate can be if the house is booby trapped. So we try to go in with the small team, clear, and then we're gonna. If there's a second floor, we're gonna clear the first floor, bring in another pair of people to hold the stairwell, and then once the first floor is clear, go up, get the second floor, third floor, whatever. So try to keep it small, and then once it's cleared, then you can move in troops, which we did at the end, to kind of either make positions or take positions within the house and lay some fire downrange.
Okay, so as we're moving up to here, Lev took the right corner, and I took my corner over here on the opening we made. As soon as I got to this point, I saw the first terrorist, okay, and I opened fire on him and neutralized him. Okay, and then I get on my corner. Okay.
By this point, Mike already came up behind me. Mike's here simulating another pair of soldiers.
Yeah.
So he came up, he tapped me on the shoulder. He told me he was here. I told him basically what I'm looking at, and then he swapped me out. And now I'm available to come here and be with you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, once I know that he's with me, okay, then I went for my grenade. Lev told me that he took my cover. Okay, then I was able to put down my weapon, go for my grenade, chuck it, and then we took a couple steps back, let it go up, okay? And then basically we give a command to enter the house with live fire, okay? Which means we're going to be shooting at anything suspicious we see in the house, furniture, anything that could be a potential threat. So then we started entering. As soon as I entered this corner, I saw this terrorist, shot him up, okay, neutralized him, and then we both entered together. Saw this guy, neutralized him, and then Lev took initiative and went to the far end of the house and started looking for more terrorists. Okay? In general, when you're taking over a new house, okay, you're usually on the front lines of the advancement. So it's pretty realistic that there's going to be a direction that we're going to expect there to be some kind of continuation of the combat. So Lev goes, opens this window, he sees the terrorist. Lev, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so obviously I come out here. This is, obviously you don't usually have these cracks in the corners. Those are usually the strongest part of a building. But I came here, found the opening, look out it. See a terrorist over there? So I shoot him, and I yelled, terrorist, so that he would know what I'm shooting at, basically.
Okay. Once I heard that there's continuation, my first instinct is to look for a way to support him. Okay, if the window is too small, I realized I can't get in with him and put 2 barrels on him. So I went through here. Lev finished neutralizing him, and over here we had 2 more guys simulated by Mike, searching for more insurgents.
And searching the inside of the house.
That was me.
Yeah, because before you can bring in all your guys, you're going to want to clear the house not just from terrorists, first you go through, you look for immediate threats, terrorists, IEDs that are right out there in the middle of something. Then after that, you can go through and look for it a little bit more closely. But the most important thing is to make sure you're not sending all your friends in your house that's about to explode.
Exactly. That first sweep that you do, you're being as thorough as you can, but you're moving. Okay, you're moving, and you're not able to go down to the little details. So doing that final,
up really high.
Yeah, doing that final search is critical, so that you can kind of stamp your signature on it to tell the rest of you guys, okay, you guys can come in. And not put them into a booby trap.
So again, guys, there's a lot to CQB. There's a lot to urban combat. These are some of the very simple, the simplest of movements to get building to building, to move down roads. There's a lot more to it. We're not here to make you experts. We're here to explain some things and to help you think a little bit more deeply about the subject of urban combat. With that being said, gentlemen, let's continue. So kind of wrapping up movement in urban combat situations, I think one thing to note is going to be forward line of out troops, otherwise known as a plot. I understand that's a very fluid situation with what you guys have been dealing with, so if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, for sure. As opposed to like previous conflicts, basically in this conflict we've realized that there is no forward line of troops, basically. Like they could be tunnels anywhere. You could pass over a section of dirt, you could cross over with a D9 bulldozer, and there could still be a tunnel there. So we basically had you 360 defense always. You have some lines of fire that are more closed off than others because there's troops over there. But in general, especially when it comes to like doing close support on tanks and stuff like that, basically it's 360 defense that people can pop out of any location, any house, and whenever you leave a house and come back to it later, it's as if you've never been there. Basically, you have to open it up and clear it from scratch and check for booby traps, mines. Some people have been in the same house 10, 12, 15 times, and then they come back one time and it's booby trapped. So it's
Are there any things to look for that might indicate a booby trap?
I mean, there's some stuff you can do when you leave your house that you want to make sure that it's not being booby trapped. You can put clear tape over the doorways and stuff. You can close stuff in a certain way. You can move furniture around so you can see if it's been moved when you come back. In general, also, we just kind of want to close off the houses when we leave them because we don't want cats to come in and take shits in our kitchens. Yeah. So.
Now, this video is brought to you by Rocky Boots. If you're not familiar with Rocky Boots, I am. I spent a lot of time in my military career using them. About them. Since World War II, Rocky Boots is making the world's best combat boots for the U.S. and international allied forces, including complete lines for all the different branches, such as the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, sometimes the Coast Guard, and of course my favorite, the Air Force. Actually, back in the day, you were issued really terrible boots in basic training, of course. And when you see somebody rocking around with Rocky S2Vs, these guys right here, you'd be like, oh man, he's got the S2Vs, bro. What is up? It was a pretty big deal, and we were all pretty stoked about them. So when we got to wear them, it was awesome. And if you need to stay within regulations for the military, I can't think of a better boot. Now, later on in my career, they really didn't care what we wore, so didn't wear them so much after that. But if you have to stay in regulation, they rock. Today, Rocky is still proudly designing boots to protect men and women who compromise the elite forces of our country, as well as the law enforcement, public servants, and of course, the firefighters that protect our communities. So what I want you guys to do is click the link right below my bio, sign up for my code for 25% off Rocky military and public service products. Very kind of them. Go and check it out, guys. We love them so much. Thank you, Rocky Boots. Let's get back to the video. So we've covered a lot of information from kits to combat movement. We can talk about weapon systems right here. Gentlemen, please, on you.
So this is a SAW. Obviously, usually I run a Negev light machine gun, but this is the same optics combo that I use. So I like to have the EOTech with the flip-up magnifier. If I wasn't the point machine gunner, I probably wouldn't put on a magnifier just for the weight and the simplicity. But being that we're both out in the front, I like to be able to look out a little bit farther, see farther ahead of me, help look for cameras and stuff like that, look for ambushes. And it's just, fun. You can draw smiley faces on walls and stuff from far away.
Is this what you do in your off time?
I can't comment on that. And then I have the IDF issued, I think, old Elbit laser on mine. Just an IR laser, and then I put a Streamlight flashlight on the left side. I actually modified my Negev by screwing with my multi-tool, screwing on a plastic Picatinny rail to the bottom, so I could add a vertical foregrip just like this. And then the negative lets you fold the stock in. And what I really like about that is that it was super easy to switch stocks like this with the stock right in your chest. You get really easily get around corners like that. And then the negative also has 150 round drums. I would carry one here, one here, one here, one in the pack. And then on my battle belt right here, another like 120 rounds or something. Then I have an extra 1,000 back in the rucksack.
Are you guys just carrying M855? Is it
the green? Yeah, exactly. We both do that. Designated marksman and also
if you want to talk to the feet, I know we had
so that's something interesting that Mike and I were talking about. Basically, the default, basically in the IDF, at least where I am, is you walk around with them open up like this, so that if you need to sprawl down, you can just sprawl down in a second with them already open.
Sure, yeah.
Which is nice to do. You were saying you guys walk around with them folding backwards a lot. What we do usually, possibly because of the negative design, once you have a handle over here, you can't fold it backwards.
Okay.
Also, the PTT cable will get in the way and stuff. So I would fold them, if I wanted to, I would fold them forwards like this. And then this is nice because I can really easily rest this on, exactly. So I can really easily rest this on something like that. Maybe get some contrast against it. And also, if I want to really steady it, I can actually put my hand on one of these while it's rested forward, and I can crank down on the whole thing and get super steady. And also, if there's a broken window, I can use these to gently smash out the rest of the glass of the window and then clear the window frame so I'm not going to cut myself.
Yep. Obviously, these are different from the guy.
Yeah, a bit different. But, you know, these are similar stuff. Also, if you're shooting through bars on a window, which a lot of them have, you can really easily rest those on the bars of the window and get to a good position.
There's something for everything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That 100% change.
Yeah.
In terms of the ammunition, are any of your teammates carrying belts of ammo for you as well?
I mean, I have occasionally, if we're going somewhere far away without a lot of resupply, I'll throw in some extra belts with other people. But people have enough stuff to carry in general. I like to carry my own ammo. I'm of the firm belief that designated marksmen, who are always the battle buddy of a negative, are a little bit weaker mentally, and that's why they're marksmen and not machine gunners. So I try not to, you know, make their life hard.
Of course, yeah. People think it's too distant.
I mean, this guy's actually a machine gunner, like before he switched units.
So in my team, I'm usually running a light machine gun negative also. A funny story, when we were first going into Gaza, they told us that we weren't going to have...
We were top squad, bro. Way to go, top.
Hours. So we
top squad.
I took my usual 4 drums, and I put in a 5th. And then my battle buddy took 2 more drums. So it's like 7 drums or something like that.
Yeah.
So we went in heavy, and later regretted it. We didn't have to bring that much, but we wanted to be better safe than sorry, you know.
100%.
I mean, yeah, for sure. And then sidearms. Talk about your current setup, because
go through your sidearm as well right now.
Okay. Yeah. So my sidearm over here, this isn't exactly indicative of it, but M&P 2.0 compact, 17 round magazine.
Did you choose the M&P because of our video?
Partly. But
let's go.
Mostly I just use that video if anyone shits on it.
Okay, fair enough.
And they're like, you need the Glock. The Glock is the reliable gun, you know? It's the reliable one. You hear that all the time, right? Of course he does. He's a fucking Glock fanboy. But basically everyone's like you need the Glock. Only the Glock. I'm like, you can buy other things besides for Glock. It's like...
Singing ass bitch.
I have a red dot on here and a flashlight. And actually, on the 7th of October, I didn't have a flashlight yet.
This bitch singing ass shit and all that.
So we were just like straight
I think
up.
that's so hilarious.
So I actually cleared a lot of the houses in Kfar Aza, like the Israeli houses, with just my handgun, and with this slung to the side like that, basically. And cleared them with the handgun, with the flashlight, going through the rooms.
Wild.
Yeah.
All right, so like I said, in my team, I'm usually a light machine gunist, but there was definitely a month in Gaza where I joined a different unit, and I was lead marksman. So basically, a marksman gun in the IDF, it's gonna look a lot like this. It's standard M4, flat top with an ACOG optic. Personally, I added a piggyback, prefer so I have something for close range. And the IDF issued M4 is going to come with little legs here.
The bipod.
The bipod.
Dude.
They're heavy, and it doesn't feel right for my hand. And
Goddamn
it's a personal preference. What you shoot best with is what you should do. So I like to keep it clean without a grip. Yeah, flashlight and PEC.
Now, in terms of your flashlights, you are keeping caps on those for.
Yeah, so we actually we have someone sew these basically like cloth covers for them. They're basically like a stretchy material.
Okay.
And you just kind of stick it on. It's stuck on, and if you want to pull it off, you pull it off. And yeah, just to minimize any risk of flash.
Now, and to be clear, you're using this is the battery-powered ACOG. It's what we had on hand.
Right. So
using the fiber optic.
So active service combatants are using this one.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I haven't used it. They didn't have it when I was in active service.
Now, I've noticed that you guys haven't talked about suppressors at all. Is that because they're not issued?
So only certain units are going to have them. It's usually tier 1 units. Okay. We haven't used them at all.
Is there something you'd like to have on your weapons?
A suppressor?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I'd like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like combat is so loud anyway with heavy machine guns and with tanks firing and shit. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, it can be really loud with someone shooting, but
it'd be nice to have the option though.
I wouldn't put extra weight on my negative. It's already so fucking heavy.
No, not on negative.
Not on the negative. No. Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, at night, I guess that's kind of the big thing. But
Our short barrel negative makes a huge fireball at night.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful in a way, you know?
Yeah,
I get it. You got to put down that suppressing fire. You guys seen a lot of night fighting, or did they not come out at night?
The night fighting is more static in both directions. There have been some situations where they come and try to overrun posts at night, but usually it's not.
Usually it's a daytime stream.
Is that due to lack of nods or thermals on their end?
I would say so, yeah. I would say they fear our ability to...
Fair.
Yeah. With the thermals and the nads, yeah.
Fair enough. You want to talk to your handgun?
Yeah. So I usually run a Glock 19. It's the Glock 17, but it's pretty close to what I use. I have a mounted optic, Holliston SCS, and also I run the TLR 8 flashlight and laser. It's also like for like small bathrooms and stuff like that. When you're running a machine gun and you're opening really small corners like that, really small like meter rooms, you're gonna go for the
Also, if you have to crawl up into a crawl space or something, I've had a couple situations where like above the doorway there's like a crawl space for storage. So you climb on up there, and you're not going to be using it.
Yeah, you're just going to climb up and you're going to handle
the ladder like that. Also, inside Israel, on the 9th of October, we were going up to a lot of roofs. So climbing up the roof on a ladder, you're going to poke up your head on the ladder with the handgun, not go up with your machine gun.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, obviously, when it comes to the weapons that you guys are using, these are issued. You're in a professional military. There's really not going to be much of a choice when it comes to them. And oftentimes, you can see whatever they have, they make it work. And that's the big thing that you saw in the United States military or any military. So there's always going to be that element when we're talking about the weapons that you guys are issued and what you have what you work with, and that's what you get. There's not really much you can do about it.
Yeah. Although gear, I guess, is the exception.
Yeah.
And I think in this war especially, there's been so much donation money coming in from the Jewish community. So many people who are, no longer in a unit who want to donate back to people in our unit. So we've kind of been upgrading our gear the whole time. And I think it's kind of super important when you get your gear, obviously, to go out and test it and run around in it before you get to combat. Don't be a dumbass and cross the border into Gaza and be like, oh, my backpack's uncomfortable. You're a dumbass,
Yep.
Test it on your base.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you for talking about the weapons. Let's talk a little bit about October 7th. It was a pretty interesting scenario, and I know there's some good lessons learned there. So let's go ahead and roll into that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people might not be familiar with what October 7th was and how it kind of redefined a lot of combat for you guys. So if you could explain what October 7th was and explain a lot of the combat and how things were kind of different during that time.
Basically, October 7th was a super well coordinated, really hardcore attack across the border, the southern border with Gaza by Hamas. It started with, leading up to it, basically systematically removing and overpowering we're what do you call it, surveillance systems, the surveillance systems on the border. So sending drones in to attack surveillance towers, taking out cameras. And then there was like a heavy, very heavy rocket barrage in the morning. Personally, I was in Beersheba in my parents' house with my wife. And we were with your kid there basically, and so we all went into our bomb shelters. And that's kind of what they were counting on, is having a really powerful long barrage to keep people's heads down. Then they had a multi-pronged approach where they crossed the border by ramming and having bulldozers ram holes in the fence, like enough holes to basically overwhelm quick reaction force that could come and counterattack. Having paragliders who came in, Hamas paragliders, you'd have one or two guys on a paraglider come in and dismount and start setting up roadblocks on roads and attacking, and just having a ton of classic, Middle East white pickup truck full of terrorists just crossing again and again, having a ton of those, and having terrorists on dirt bikes who were super mobile. And the idea was to go and attack and overwhelm the bases, kidnap or slaughter everyone on the army bases on the border, and also attack all of the kibbutzim, which are like small communal villages on the border. And they also, the reason they did it on that date specifically was because of the Nova Music Festival, which was a huge music festival where they killed and raped hundreds of people at the festival and kidnapped a bunch of them, turned it into just a straight up massacre. So one of the hardest things for the IDF on this day was that the QRFs were set up to take on small individual attacks. So each kibbutz had their own quick reaction. It's called the Kitat Konut, which is like a readiness party that has a couple guys maybe, and you have the guy in charge, and they're ready for someone to come and attack a certain house, or one guy on the border, one guy to attack this. You have people getting ambushed with hundreds of terrorists outside of their houses, just getting absolutely cut down, and like the security at the music festival of like a dozen cops or whatever with Glock 19s, 2 mags each or something like that, just getting absolutely torn apart by PK fire and AK fire. You have RPGs. A lot of people basically take shelter from the rockets, and those shelters turn into their final resting places, because people would go into in Israel in the south, you have a lot of bomb shelters and rocket shelters that are just next to bus stops. People would go into them, get trapped inside, and Hamas terrorists would come and throw grenades inside. When people run out, just gun them down basically. It turned into a very chaotic situation. People didn't quite understand what was going on in the beginning, and it took just way too long to get it under control. All the QRF teams that went in were just hit really heavily, took really heavy casualties, and you ended up having like a couple of helicopters per each area, and the guys killing dozens, if not tens of terrorists, taking really heavy casualties, and you have some really crazy stories of that. I was only involved in on the 8th and 9th. I went into Kfar Aza, which is one of the villages that got hit very hard. You were involved on the first day, but basically I was drafted on the first day, and then they didn't really quite know what to do with us, because there were already so many forces converging on the area, held us back a little bit, and then sent us in after to start clearing bodies. But why don't you talk about your experience?
So on the 7th, after we got the message to go to base and arm up, this was around like 12 in the afternoon. We spent 2 hours gearing up, and we made it to the south on our Hummers. And I remember when we were on the road number 6, I'm just seeing all these cars like running away from the south, like just traffic jam of cars running away from the south, and we're just going down. So like whatever they're running from, we're going towards it. I remember once we passed a certain point, like we were like in the area of like that south of Gaza, we started seeing just carnage along the streets, just bodies all along the streets of terrorists. I saw a car with civilian casualties as well. It looked like The Purge. It looked like something out of the movie The Purge. Just cars burning, fire, destruction everywhere. We went to a kibbutz called Kibbutz Saad, and we holed up over there. And from there, we went out to scanning missions, just searching the surrounding nature and surrounding agricultural fields for stragglers, for any terrorists that may be hiding there. During one of our missions, we actually found, we had a report of a terrorist hiding in a orchard, and me and my team were doing a scan of the orchard. Everyone just gets a strip of their own, in between each line of trees is a strip. The guy on my team sees the terrorist from 5 meters away. It's slow moving, slowly through the orchard. Sees him 5 meters away, puts 3 in him, and then neutralizes him. We ended up checking his phone, and we found out that he was one of the guys basically helping Hamas find. So he was a scout, basically just finding stragglers and killing civilians. So from there, after the search parties that we were doing around the kibbutz, we got the mission to retake the base Nachal Oz. We went to the base, and at the front gates of the base, we were contacted by a terrorist from inside the base. We took cover, returned fire, and the platoon commander called in a tank to take out the terrorists. After the terrorist was neutralized, we started clearing the base of terrorist threats, and once it was clear, we basically got the mission of clearing out 70 casualties of our own soldiers, male and female, some of them non-combatant. A good portion of them weren't even combatants. Bodies were mutilated, and we basically just bagged them and brought them back home.
Obviously, you deal with a tough situation. There are no rules in this conflict as far as their side, so you're dealing with a lot of very tough situations. Now, what were some things and tactics that they did once you were entering these locations to clean up bodies that put you guys in situations that you weren't aware of until it occurred that day?
So they were basically booby trapping dead bodies, like taking grenades, for example, removing the handle, and basically just removing the pin and leaving it under a body. And then when paramedics or soldiers will come to the dead body and touch it, move it, the grenade will go off and injure soldiers.
So they pull the pin out and the handle will be against the body. Exactly. So when the body's moved, the handle will pop off and start to fuse.
They were also doing that. They were also doing that with bags, like putting them in bags, kind of, so that when you touch the bag or step on it. Also, RPG warheads. They were leaving weapons behind and booby trapping the weapons.
Yeah. Were there any ambushes when it came to that? As far as like recovering dead bodies, where they'd be in wait?
I didn't really see that because, it's like at that point it was retaking Israel. So there's so many soldiers in the area. The choppers that Lev was talking about, they kind of just hit and ran.
Okay.
But there were some stragglers, but not many.
There were also a lot of Gazan civilians basically that took the opportunity to cross the border and start looting. So you have like guys who come with their like donkey cart or whatever and start loading up washing machines and TVs and stuff. Had those guys. And that was also in the beginning that Hamas said that they couldn't even say how many prisoners they had because they didn't have all the prisoners. So basically, people were just taking their own prisoners. So they knew to do something eventually. And a lot of the guys that we ran into in Kfar Aza, we went into after Kfar Aza was already partially retaken, we went in and finished taking it on the 8th and 9th. And we basically cleared it house to house at night. And then we set up basically bases inside civilian houses and set up a line, basically a friendly line. And the next day we cleared the rest of it and we, bagged, like you said, and protected the non-combatants and combatants who had the unfortunate job of having to bag up Israeli civilians and remove them. So we saw a lot of that, and we saw a lot of just butchered Israelis in their homes. And I think it was just the creepiest thing was just the fact that it was like a city, like a neighborhood that I wasn't familiar with that one, but it was very similar to ones that I lived in Israel, and it was just like completely empty of life. It was just here and there a soldier, and you'd have maybe a cat walking around, and there were just dead dogs and dead people in the street, dead terrorists everywhere. Tanks had like run over cars while trying to get a better firing position, burning cars, burned out houses. Like the like a lot of houses have, all new houses in Israel are built with a safe room, and a lot of the safe rooms were just RPG'd open basically. So someone would just shoot in through the wall, and it was just really creepy. It was really very very eerie.
I think when it comes to that, there's a definite thing we have to speak to, which is urban civilian readiness, right?
Yeah.
So despite where you are, no matter where you are, we've talked about it in past survival situations, in videos that we've done, but you never know when the situation is going to hit you. As safe as you can be, obviously Israel, being so close to the border to people who hate you, you're going to get a little bit more of that than what we see, obviously, here in the United States. But nonetheless, the information that we're showing here, that we're presenting here, is incredibly valuable. And the time that you need it, that you absolutely need it, it's too late to learn it. So this is where it's really important to take these lessons that we've talked about today and begin to implement them into your own training. That's going to be extremely important. Gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and finish up here, and I can't thank you guys enough for coming on. Do you want to have any final thoughts for the guys before you go?
Just got to be ready. You got to be ready to make the mental switch. There's, you have your civilian life. You're going day to day. You're with your family. You're with your loved ones. You're at a music festival. You're wherever. When the shots start flying, the bullets start flying, you got to be able to make that switch, go into survival mode, and either save yourself, get out of there, or go towards the gunfire and find terrorists and kill them. You have people who had just the handgun they had on them, maybe one spare magazine, who went out, fought to a long gun, whether it was from a fallen soldier or from a fallen terrorist, and then some of them literally took uniforms off of dead soldiers so they could put them on so they wouldn't be misidentified by friendlies and killed, and who fought to their loved ones and created just groups of other survivors and fought out.
Holy fuck.
You got to be ready for it, and just be ready to protect the ones you love and the people you love and the country you love, and just stay always ready.
Yeah, get some training. These people in all these settlements on the 7th of October, they didn't see this coming. It could happen. It could happen to anyone, unfortunately. Get training, take it seriously, and be aware and know how to make the switch.
Awesome. Gentlemen, can't thank you guys enough. We've given a lot of dad advice today, a lot of advice in general. Train, be good at what it is, be ready to protect your loved ones. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Tons more survival content coming. We got nothing else for you.
We're heading to fight. Let's retake control. Our forces are hitting Delta.
See shit in here. What the fuck?
Need attack support on the marked objective.
trouble. Fuck.
Like Blackbird, I think it's the F-35 and Blackbird. We going to war right there, boy. See, this game has got hella potential. This is what I'm talking about. The potential is there, bro. It just they fucking be bullshitting over there, bro.
How the fuck did you know about this, bro, without even scouting it? With a pylon or anything? You just magically looked at my base? Is that what you did? How did you magically look at my base, huh? You just happened to be on stream? Is that what's up? Plenty of time for that delay to kick in, yeah? When you can see it in your base. Right?
Center upgrade complete. Not unacceptable landing zone.
SCV ready.
Add-on complete. Not enough energy.
SCV ready.
He wasn't even going to build a pylon. He wasn't even, like, sending anything over there. He just sent all his units into that corner without scouting it.
Additional support.
Then again, these low MMR shits tend to be that way. They're fucking terrible at the game. And they usually end up cheating.
Insufficient rescue gas.
Waiting on you. Need something load up? Life flight here.
Working across teams is tough, but Asana helps you handle it. That's because Asana is where humans and AI coordinate work together. AI can spot roadblocks and assign work in a snap, so everything and everyone stays on track. That's how work gets handled. That's Asana. Visit us at asana.com. That's ASANA.com.
Not enough.
SCV ready. Go, go, go. In the rear. SCV ready. Yo. Well.
Add-on complete. Additional survival votes required. Not enough minerals.
Sad because I forgot that Psystorm lasts a fucking century now.
Need something
So what? I'm just gonna lose to this random low-end fucking Protoss fuck because he's got it easy now. This dumb fuck balance council? Is that what's up? All these sorry shits have it so easy.
Commander. Flight plan is your forces are under attack. Upgrade complete. Initiate. Got freedom.
Want a piece of me, boy? Ready for dust-off. Ready for dust-off. This better be good. Ready. What's up? FTV ready.
Need something liberated?
FTV ready.
Not enough energy.
In the rear. Go ahead. Huh? I can't build here. What's
Insufficient.
armed and ready?
Insufficient Vespine gas.
SCV ready. We hear you. SCV ready. Ghost reporting.
Mineral field.
This better be good. Wait. Huh. Father, you sure look ready. Go. This better be good.
Insufficient Vespine gas. Insufficient. under attack. Additional supply depots deployed. Mineral field depleted.
Ready for dust off.
Mineral field depleted.
What's going on? Now what?
This better be good. Out with it.
Upgrade.
Ready for dust off.
Mineral field depleted.
Son of a boy. This better be good.
Hey, look at that. Random low-end Protoss expanding everywhere.
Base.
Yeah.
Additional supply depots deployed.
Initiating. Perfect.
Additional supply depots deployed.
Sure does.
Additional supply depots required.
You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. Or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
We've got your cravings covered. Now stop in for the flaky fillet of fish, the crispy snack wrap, or large fries for just $2.99. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This better be good.
Command center upgrade. Insufficient Vespine gas.
This better be good.
Boy, guys, Liberators are so overpowered, they gotta take the vision away from it.
Additional supply depots required.
Isn't that right?
SCV ready. This better be good.
Base is under attack.
Want some?
Additional supply depots required.
Objective Alpha has been neutralized.
In the rear with the gear. You gonna give me orders? Ready. Been waiting.
Not enough energy. Upgrade complete.
Want some? SCV ready.
Additional supply depots required.
SCV ready.
Upgrade. Mineral field depleted.
This better be good.
Not enough energy.
Now what?
Base is under attack. Vespine gas exists.
Well, these ugly-ass Protoss fucks always have it easy with back row. You can't punish them early anymore. The way they balance the game. There's no punishing them. They are the new Zerg, but with better units. New Zerg, but with better units, guys.
We now hold all objectives. Secure all defenses.
That's why the game is diminishing and everybody's quitting. It's because people are tired of this shit. People are tired of these EU motherfucker influencers balancing the game.
Objective Delta.
These woke fucking retards everywhere. Oh well, what can you do? Just watch it burn. If StarCraft dies, it's because of those fuckers that are balancing the game. And we know why. Hey! Those influencers won't survive without viewers and revenue and support. They definitely won't. They don't have, like, real-life skills. They don't know how to fucking operate in the real world. They live with mommy and daddy. They've never touched grass before. I'll be okay. All of them, well, I wish them the best of luck if they can destroy the game. Just a harsh reality.
Additional supply depots. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Huh? What's going on? SCV ready.
Yes, he does, K9. Yes, he does.
SCV ready. Good job.
SCVs under attack.
SCV ready. Move it.
Command center upgrade complete.
Go ahead. Good job.
Add-on complete.
SCV ready.
Not enough minerals.
Fine. Keep attacking on all fronts. This better be good. What's going on?
Not enough base is under attack. Not enough.
Good job.
Not enough minerals. minerals.
Want a piece of me, boy? Gotcha.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Research. Not enough minerals. Command center upgrade. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Insufficient rescue gas.
Big job. Baby.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
This better be good.
Not enough. Insufficient. Not enough.
Ready for dust off.
Not
What's up?
Ready for dust off.
Been waiting.
Waiting on you.
Gangway. Coming through.
Ready for pickup.
Ready.
Yeah, I saw that.
Attacking target the objective.
Acknowledged.
Control it at all costs. Let's move.
Loud and clear.
base is under attack.
guy's so good at the game. I could kill so much shit. Game-ending shit, but he's still alive. So much game-ending shit, but he's still alive, guys. I killed all those workers. Every single one of those fucking workers. Nope. He's still alive with 1,000 units. I even killed his army without losing any fucking units in the beginning of the game. Nope, still not good enough. Still not good enough in StarCraft 2 Legacy of the fucking Void 2026 with these goddamn fucking balance council. Nope, not good enough. Not good enough. Hey, not good enough.
Usually getting a phone for $0 is too good to be true. A hassle. But not at Verizon. Now, when you make the switch to Verizon, America's best network, you can get the new Samsung Galaxy S26 Plus for $0. No drama, no hassles. No trade-in needed when you get a new line on select unlimited plans. Talk about a no-brainer. Best network based on root metrics, best overall mobile network performance, US 2H 2025. All rights reserved. See Verizon.com for details.
Come on, bros. Not good enough. Hey, I kill an entire mineral line. I kill a bunch of units. I lose nothing. Oh, he's got 1,000 units still. Oh, what's up with that? This guy's so good at the game. I must just be bad at StarCraft 2 or something. It's gotta be old age. Apparently all the Zoomers are just good. Gotta be old age. That's why I suck at StarCraft now, right?
Enemy attack confirmed at Charlie.
That's gotta be the reason. It's just all the Zoomers, man, they just play Protoss. See, all the Zoomer kids, they play Protoss. They don't play anything else. They play only Protoss. They're just, you know, magically good at the game. Because all the Zoomers play Protoss. See, all the boomers and shit, we play Terran. Terran, see, we're just bad at the game. We're just really fucking bad at the game. That's all it is. See, these Zoomer kids, you're just better than us. Fucking ridiculous, man. Fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, I killed practically his entire army without losing anything and denied a third and killed all the workers in his natural, and he still had that much shit. What the fuck is wrong with it, with this nowadays? It never used to be like that. It's a handicap. It's a fucking handicap, man. If you fuck up that hard in the past, you lost as a protest. But these kids, man, they have so many fucking crutches now with this protest balance, it's insane. Shit's driving me mad. I'm tired of it. I win, and I'm still not happy because I know it's still imbalanced.
I'm just curious, why am I so good?
Dev Watcher, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the gift subs.
Additional supply depot.
You're awesome, man. Appreciate you.
Not enough minerals.
I'm just curious, why am I so good? Big job.
Not enough minerals.
SCV ready. What's going on? Ready. Big job. I'm just curious, why am I so good? SCV ready. SCV ready. We hear you. I'm just curious, why am I so good? What's up?
Insufficient SQ gas.
Got it. What's going on?
Command center upgrade complete.
Go ahead.
Not enough minerals.
I'm just curious, why am I so good? Your time.
I'm not gonna build it there. I'm gonna build it over here. Make it a little closer. Closer to my base.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
In the rear. What's going on? Good work.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Additional supply depots required.
In the rear.
Add-on complete. Insufficient Vespine gas.
Ready to race? SCV ready. Word. Bandit. Go ahead.
Insufficient Vespine gas.
Boy.
Not enough moons.
Waiting on you.
Not enough moons.
Enjoying your free scouting? Must be nice. I know.
Ready for dust off.
Must be real nice.
Command center up. Complete.
Why is that shit not? Yeah, just delay fucking mining forever. Not that it fucking matters, they're always ahead. They're always ahead in StarCraft 2. Misclicked probes too, which kind of sucks. If I misclick probes, I might lose now. I should have killed a lot of them, but I didn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that.
Additional supply items deployed. Additional supply items. Not enough moons. Additional supply items. Additional supply items.
Ready for dust off.
Shouldn't have done that. It never fucking works anymore. Pull-in workers never fucking works. They've made it too easy for that stupid fuck race.
This is an old video. This is yesterday. Hey, Bernie been bitching all day.
We gonna strike while the iron's hot.
But we wouldn't be seeing any sort of, you know, like it's just a guaranteed breaking news stream. Like, you know, it'll depend on the news that comes out. So I hope that does address that the best I can, at least in my opinion. And
Look how they have Afghanistan blanked out.
Let's have a 5 from Great Southwest Trains. He said, good evening, enforcers, and what's your thoughts on the CPKC 1776, the 250 celebration locomotive?
It's actually pretty sick. Like, I've seen it like a couple of times so far, like a couple of pictures on like Instagram and stuff. I really like it. So this is the
I don't think I lost the match yet.
bicentennial unit and paint shop that they made. And I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty cool. Like, I like that one a good bit. It celebrates America's 250th anniversary. It's pretty cool. They also have this other one here as well. With the Screaming Eagle on the front of it. I'll be honest with y'all, I like the red, white, and blue one a little bit better. And there's another one out there from a smaller railroad. I think it's a Genesee and Wyoming company, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. Maybe I can just find it somewhere in here. Oh, let me see here. Let me see. Let's see here. Let me go pull up sesquicentennial units. Let's see, hold up. Let me type this in, folks, because there's a really cool one out there, and I thought it was the best looking one. Jizz.
We have secured Delta.
Heritage. Let's see here. Here we go. This is the one. So this is the one I thought was the absolute sickest. It's a Genesee and Wyoming company. I forgot which one because they run a whole bunch of little ones. But they made this one, and I'm not going to lie, that's probably the best looking one in my opinion that I've seen so far. It's really nice looking. I like the dark blue. I like the Liberty Bell, and also how stylized it all is. It's very clean looking. So I was like, this is probably the best one that's been put out there yet. I heard that Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, and a couple of other of the class ones are coming up with their own bicentennial, well, sesquicentennial, I mean, units, because, you know, everyone's got to have one eventually. But I haven't seen them or heard of them yet, except for CPKCs. But theirs is legit. Also, I can't forget to mention the Wheeling and Lake Erie, Erie unit that they have right here. I honestly say that one's really good.
It's all right.
It's all right. What do you mean?
It's okay. It's a train. It's a train.
He hates trains, folks. He's never going to say anything good about them. Oh, wow!
Have you seen the Lionel? Have you seen the Lionel Trump train?
What?
Have you seen the Lionel Trump train?
Hold up.
I'll send you the link.
I see it here. You know, I'm like.
There's only 17 left, by the way. It costs $776. Is this a real listing or is this fake?
This is real. The like Lionel gets pretty like political. You know, it's kind of interesting though. The Lionel is doing so financially bad they got bought by the Chinese like a couple of days back. Like I gotta mention that. Like, you know, I gotta be honest with y'all. Like, I just gotta be upfront. Like, I like my trains the way they are. I don't really like the whole fantasy deal, and I also don't like it when it gets political. And, you know, I gotta say, like, in this particular instance, it's kind of ironic, considering that the tariffs almost obliterated the entire model railroad industry last year, and all of them were in a panic over that, when that was still ongoing. It's like, you know, it's kind of ironic that they make it like this. It's like, this is a guy who also ruined the model railroading industry, mind you.
Also, by the way, I'm not sure if they got bought by Chinese group, by the way, just to make that clear.
Well, no, like, here, I can go pull it up. Let's see. So, yeah, here it is, February 24th of 2026, trains.com, round 2. It's a Chinese company announced its intent to acquire Lionel just a few days ago. The news came out that they had actually acquired them. So, you know, that was...
Yeah, I think it's an American company, though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's why I was saying you might want to back that off for this statement there.
Well, that's what I heard at least, but we'll have to see. You know, take it with a grain of salt. But anyways, with that, we are on to the next one.
And with that, folks, that is the end of our Super Chat questions for now. And I was just making sure that there weren't any more to address real quick, and it looks like that is it for now. So a big shout out to everybody once again for helping to support the channel, even on the Sunday Night Fundraiser stream, by the way. And we do appreciate that very, very much. And let's jump into some live chat questions. It's time to see what everybody else was saying in the live chat and bringing up some questions, some fora, as they call it. But this one goes to Little Bear. He said, did you see the clip from Iran State TV that shows lots of missiles still in their tunnels?
I would say yes, I did see it, but we don't know when that was filmed, and that could have been filmed at any point in time before the war or during the war. But I did see it, so I hope that does address that the best I can. And with that, we are on to the next one.
We also have a question from Sean Willem, who said, would you guys support the Marines taking the islands in the Strait?
I would say that that'd probably be a smarter idea than going for Korg Island first, but I'm generally not a big fan of putting troops on the ground in Iran at all, because that's probably going to end up leading to some significant losses. So I hope that does address that the best I can, at least in my opinion. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And we also have one more super chat, which goes to Chris Feilbach yet again. And thank you very much, Chris, for the second support of the night. We do appreciate that. He puts in a 5. He said, Sirs, you have done a great slander to the orb acronym of the day.
You've done great slander to His Majesty's orb. That sounds wrong. Like, that sounds really wrong. But I did. Huh?
Oh, dear.
Oh, great heavens. But a big thanks to you for support, Chris, and helping this channel to keep on running. And I gotta say, a big thanks to you for helping this channel to keep on rolling. I also have to clarify, folks, the people who actually bought Lionel, I think, are based out of Indiana, so they are definitely not Chinese. It is an American company, just to clarify that. I had seen, and I have to say, folks, I fell for it. There was a Facebook article that said that Lionel was purchased by the Chinese, and I took that at face value and didn't do any digging into it. And that's why you always need to look into the sources that you're reading stuff off of, especially on Facebook, because that apparently was just completely incorrect, because it's actually purchased by a U.S. company, not a Chinese company. So I'll have to vet my sources that I read on Facebook a little bit more. But anyways, with that, we are on to the next one.
We also have a question from Infinity Music, who said, how many days and weeks would it take to take over Cuba?
I wouldn't even be able to tell you. I don't know how long and how many forces that would take. I just wouldn't know. That's something that I've never even really looked at a lot or thought about, because it's like one of those spry, waking up and just having a mental breakdown kind of a things, like let's invade and take Greenland sort of a deal, that you never really think about to even speak on, like what that would entail, what would happen as a result of that. Like, all of this is news to me. But with that, I hope that does address it the best I can, at least in my opinion. And with that, we are on and into the next one.
We also have a question from T Texas, who said, guys, what's really going to happen tomorrow night when the 48-hour ultimatum hits? I think they're going to carry it out, to be perfectly honest. Israel is encouraging the hell out of the United States. I'll be honest on this one, and I don't know why this is, but for some reason recently we've been being accused of being anti-Israel, which is insane, by the way, because we've made it clear over multiple years that Israel serves U.S. interests in the region. But at the same time, though, we're not yes men. If anybody out there thinks that we're going to blindly support Israel in every single thing they do, they're out of their mind. They can find a new channel. But Israel is very trigger happy when it comes to defending their country, which is fine, to be that way, to defend your country, that is. But we got to be very careful not to let Israel walk us into a bad situation, because right now, they're encouraging the U.S. leadership to follow through with these widespread power plant attacks inside of Iran, and that's going to be bad for the entire region, like, to be perfectly honest, because Iran's going to retaliate, and it's going to cause a major humanitarian issue. So, the U.S. should just wait a second and think about this whole situation before they just jump blindly into it, because, you gotta understand that Israel's got its own interests going on here, so we don't want to just blindly follow what they're saying. We want to think for ourselves here a little bit. But Enforcer, what say you?
The usual thing these days, folks, is, and this is how it works. Like, if you criticize anything about Israel in any way, like their actions or their strategy, or saying that sometimes their interests conflict with ours, some people immediately just say that you hate Israel and want everyone in there dead. And it's like, that's just a straw man argument that completely holes any legitimate conversation about Israel, because you either just are agreeing with everything that they do no matter what, and you don't have it question it, or if you question something like, hey, I don't really like this one thing, although they're an ally, I think this needs to be addressed. And then immediately you're just an Israel hater, according to people online, which is really a ridiculous sort of way to work things. Because, like, imagine if our foreign policy worked like that with any other country, where we said, oh, you know, Britain's a great ally, but there's this one issue that we have that we need to settle. Oh, you hate the British and you want all of us to die, don't you, Governor? It's like, that's a really, like, a huge jump to make from we have a couple of issues we'd like to see addressed, and going from that to saying we just hate a whole country and want them all dead. It's like, that's really an absolute misstatement and a misrepresentation of any sort of criticism. The criticism that we have on Israel right now at the war is that they are so gung-ho, they're escalating this unnecessarily. Like, for example, hitting the Pars gas field, and then the Iranians went and conducted reciprocal attacks on the oil and gas infrastructure in our allied nations as a result of that. We had already told the Israelis not to do that prior, because when they blew up all of the oil facilities in Tehran, they covered a city filled with 10 million people with toxic oil smoke. And they created a humanitarian crisis in that city that day that happened. We told them then, don't do that again, because that's absolutely absurd. And not only that, it's highly dubious and questionable. And the Israelis apparently said, oh, okay. And then a couple of days later, then they hit the Pars gas field instead, and then created another bigger issue. And it's like, bringing that up and saying that the Israelis need to calm it down and stop acting mindlessly, like they kind of always do in every conflict, isn't saying that we hate Israel, but it's pointing out an obvious fact that the Israelis can't just go around and do whatever the hell they want and have a blank check, and everyone's got to act like we have to kiss the ground that they walk on just because Israel as a nation exists. Like, you can criticize any country in the world if they're doing something questionable, just like we do our own government, and that's totally fine.
It's just that binary thinking that people have these days. There's no middle ground. It's either, oh, they love Israel or they hate Israel. It's like, it doesn't have to be either or. It's like not every single perspective is binary like that. Like and everybody tries to, like, you know, pigeonhole stuff into one category or another. It's like that's not intelligent people don't think like that. Like, not everything's black and white where it's just yes or no. It's like, it doesn't work like that. It's very nuanced. And you know, the fact that so many people need it to be that way is kind of disturbing, to say the least. But, you know, even with the United States, like, we criticize, like, the U.S. actions in the Middle East all day long. Like, and honestly, it's deserved. But at the same time, though, speaking for myself personally, if it came down to the U.S. was in a bad strait and they had to, like, ask people to join the military, I would fight and die for this country, even with the criticisms I have about it. It's our country. I'm loyal to America. The United States is my country, and it's up to us to make sure that it stays a free country. So, you know, criticism does not equal hatred. I don't know why people equate the two like that these days.
It's also a deliberate thing, like it's a strategy, so that you can never criticize that particular country. Otherwise, if you criticize them, you know, it's all woe is us. You know, you criticize us, how dare you? I'll be honest with you, I've never seen a country in the world structure itself where it is completely void of criticism, except for the Israelis, because the Israelis have done a lot of work in making it to where any discussion in America where you like you can even say, like we say, well, Israel's an ally that serves American interests in the region and fighting Iran, but however they've got to make sure to mitigate civilian collateral stuff. We say stuff like that, and then that automatically turns into, oh, I see, you hate Israel or you hate Jewish people. And it's like, that's not even the case. It's like, I'm totally fine with them when they're an ally of the United States, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that because they're an ally, they get to go around conducting unmitigated amounts of civilian fatalities in war just because they're our ally. No other ally in the world would get away with something like that except for them, because if you ever bring it up, they go, oh, you hate Israel, don't you? And it's like, that completely moves the argument into another thing, to where instead of bringing up a legitimate point, then you have to immediately go on the defensive and go, no, I'm fine with Israel. No, you hate them. And it's like, that's such a stupid straw man argument to make every single time someone brings up a critique, because there's no legitimate conversation.
Stay with me. It's called ad hominem attacks, is what that's called, and it's been around for ages. Also, by the way, lawyers love to use that, by the way, like those type of attacks of ad hominem. They love to do that. It's basically attacking the person's character instead of attacking their argument. And it's not unique to, like, people that are, like, very very much in support of Israel. It's not unique to those folks. It's anybody. Like, you know, the Russian propagandists do that. Pretty much anybody with some type of agenda, they resort to attacks like that, which is really lame because it's like if you can't argue your perspective, then your argument's finished off the bat.
Yeah, no, and another thing, folks, is like, you know, we like, and it's so funny to me. People be like, "Oh, you clearly hate Israel." It's like, did they see what we were talking about in 2023 when we said they were entirely justified in their strikes against Hamas and Hezbollah, and they were even justified in conducting strikes on Iran as a result because those forces are basically the proxy forces of Iran? I mean, did they see that? You know, it's like, yeah, they did, and it's like, and still, like, bring up anyone. It's like that in domestic politics these days as well. Like, you can generally say stuff like, "I love America and I love the country. I'm looking out for its best interest," but this current administration needs to pay attention to these certain things, and then people, "You hate America. You want Americans to die." It's like, actually, I'm looking for Americans to survive, and that's why I don't just, you know, back up some dude, you know, especially when they're all in their 80s and they're senile, you know, and I don't just back them up blindly because that could end up getting people I know that are serving right now killed. And so I have a little bit of a reason to kind of question things. And also on top of that, and everything I'll tell you all, I'm never a friend to anybody in the government. I didn't know the current president, and I don't know the last president personally. And even if I did, government is business, and there's no room for friendship in business. They're either doing their job properly in the interest of the republic, or they're not, and that's that. And so far, I tell you that I haven't really seen that happening all too much in foreign policy. I'm not going to get into the domestic side, we'll never touch that. But on the foreign policy side, I haven't been seeing a lot of that currently, and I wasn't seeing a lot of that previously. We've made that incredibly clear on this channel for 4 years, and I'm never going to stop. If you don't like those comments and you want to call that political, well, it's my show. I'll say whatever I want, you can find another one.
If you want a friend in Washington, get a dog.
Yeah, that's the only one you'll find. I mean, that's like people will sit there and stand up for somebody that they never even met, that they've only seen on a television, which I find so bizarre. Like, it's so mentally detached. Like, y'all never, like, none of the people who are political, who are here right now, for the left or the right, y'all have never met any of the people that y'all see on TV personally. And if y'all did, it was for like 2 minutes. You don't know them personally. Why the hell is everyone so adamant on standing up and defending people you don't even know? Like you don't know these people from Adam. Like, that's why I don't really care to stand up for any of them or defend them. I don't know any of them personally. So why do I need to stand up and defend them personally? I have no stake in the matter. But anyways, with that, it is time for us to get back to the questions. And so with that, we're on to the next one.
We also have a super chat from WDRB who put in a 10, and thank you very much to WRB for that support. Excuse me. He said, "I think every live stream should have a train section here on out. Fellow bluff and railroad employee, LSA."
Hey, thank you so much for support. Really cool to hear that we have people of the railroad here. And I gotta say, like a little side note, I would love to have like a little railroad segment after the show. Matthew hates the railroads though, so I can't do that every night. It would drive me crazy. But one thing
I wanted to add a martial arts segment to the show. If we're gonna add that, we're gonna have to have a martial arts segment. Why that one?
I don't like, honestly, that's probably like the only effective martial arts out there. The rest of them are just like hoodoo.
Oh my god, that's not a good thing to say.
Well, I mean, like that one guy in China basically proved that like Kung Fu and every other Chinese martial art, like the traditional ones, were just bogus compared to MMA. I mean, he was literally beating the masters every day to the point that the CCP even had to come down and stop the guy. So, you know, it's like, you know, there are others out there that work, but like, you know, at least compared to most of the Chinese martial arts, like the Chinese martial arts didn't stand up to the MMA whatsoever.
Damn, you about to get some hate.
Maybe. I mean, like, maybe. But, I mean, like that. I wish I knew that one guy in China who fought all of those martial arts masters in China, because, I mean, he was absolutely laying down some hate on these people. I mean, he was, like, breaking their noses and stuff. Like, you know.
About Jackie Chan?
No. It was this modern guy. Let me pull him up. Chinese MMA. Zhao I think is it. Yes, it's this guy.
Oh man, getting beat down by Zhao Dong.
So, wait, hang on. I don't think it's this guy. Let's see. MMA fighter versus Kung Fu. Who is this guy? Yeah, it is Zhu Xiaodong. And let me see if I can show you this guy, because he's actually been barred from fighting in China. But it's this guy right here. And he's an MMA fighter. And he's said all of these ancient, like, Chinese secret martial arts are just bullshit because they actually don't work. And he would, you know, and everyone sounds like you're full of crap because you're not. That's just not true. Karate as a multi-thousand-year-long tradition. It can't be BS. So the guy would challenge the actual masters of all of these different martial art styles in China to hand-to-hand combat. Like, here's a clip right here, actually. And this, I think, was Wing Chun, who was a kung fu master, and then like Zhu Xiaodong, and he beat the hell out of this guy 3 times over. I mean, basically knocked him out 3 times in a row. And he did that with every martial art in China.
Are you sure that he's been barred from that? Because that's a pretty specific statement to make. Are you sure about that?
Well, I know that he had that. Like, I think from what I was remembering, I think if that is the case, and they even
I would say allegedly on that, since you're mentioning a specific person, because I don't see anything about that on the internet.
Well, allegedly he was, but I mean, China also made him wear this paint, which in Chinese opera is supposed to make you look like a clown. Like, so, you know, this guy has been basically persecuted by the Chinese government for going around and showing the martial arts of the historic martial arts of China were basically bogus. And that's why I'm saying most of the martial arts aren't even real deals, because sure, it's cool and it teaches discipline and stuff, but this guy who's an MMA fighter went up against every single master of every martial arts in China and beat the hell out of them. Which apparently shows that they don't really amount to much of anything.
Maybe so, possible. I'm not really sure.
But you know, that's what I heard. But anyways, with that, we're on the next one.
That's a question from David Tablet. He said, "I'm wondering how the Hormuz crisis will affect China's plan to invade Taiwan."
I don't know, actually. It might limit their ability because they might be considering that their fuel resources are too low to actually sustain a conflict. This might actually end up seeing a lot of things slow down in pace, to be entirely honest, because people just won't have the resources to really fight a war. But with that, I hope that I was addressed that the best I can. And with that, we are on to the next one.
We also have a question from Shinbone once again. He said, assuming mission creep, do you two think that a war with China is 100% certain over the next 2 years?
I would say that it is probably certain. I mean, China is definitely going to move on Taiwan at some point, but this whole situation with Hormuz might actually be pushing that back a little bit, possibly, especially if the Chinese start running low on fuel along with us. We might wait for the situation resource-wise to become a lot more advantageous, and then go and try and strike. So I hope that does address that the best I can. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And our next one goes to Anna Banana, who said, if the U.S. did decide to use nukes, what might that look like in your opinion?
I would say, I mean, it would just look like small tactical nuclear drops in Iran, probably with B-61. So that's probably the best way that I could explain it. So I hope that does address that the best I can. And also, 1 second, folks, I'm trying to find something. One second, folks. I got to try and find something here. So let's see. Interesting. So I can't find anything of that, sadly, at the moment. But anyways, with that, we are on to the next one.
We also have a 20 from Bilda Beretta, and thank you very much for that $20 support. They said, have you heard of Shahed's reported updates allowing for real-time flight adjustments, and Omani ships were hit? I'm worried for the troops, and made a few thousand shorting indexes, and your analysis helped, thank you, and here's your cut.
Oh, and thank you so much for the support, and help with this channel to keep it running. And I'd have to say that we have heard about that, and it's a fairly interesting advancement. We've been seeing a lot of advancements like that in drone warfare across the board. So I thank you for the support, and hope that does address that well.
I got like 2-3 more of me, bro. Like, we're out of here.
We also have a question here from James Margolis. He said, wouldn't the Hormuz have been planned over years? And I feel like we're doing this as we go.
What in the Hormuz?
I would say yes, it probably should have been. It doesn't look like it was, and if that plan existed, it was kind of thrown out the window. And how those plans work is that you basically have to secure control of the strait starting day one of a war. You can't really like activate that plan weeks in because now things have changed drastically. So generally the window was missed and the planning was absolutely a failure in that regard, I would say. But a big thanks to you for the support and help with this channel to keep on running. I hope that does address that well. And also I see some people talking about the martial arts in general. I'd be straight up with y'all folks. There's like very few that are really good. Like most of the Chinese ones are basically just straight up bogus. Like they don't work at all. And those bullshito things, like all that doesn't work either. The Krav Maga thing works. There's some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I think, that is actually pretty dangerous. But I mean, like the ones that more so focus on like getting your chi right and like getting the form down and being like really calm, those are basically like the bogus ones. The ones that focus on like maiming your opponent, like Krav Maga and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, those are the ones that are actually real martial arts, because it's not focusing on trying to like be like the sensei. You're focusing on beating somebody, you know, and that's what happens in any sort of physical confrontation. I'll be straight up with y'all. I mean, just straight up bare-fisted boxing is more effective than most Chinese martial arts. Like the Chinese Communist Party is going to hate me for telling y'all that, but I mean that's just the truth of it. I mean that one martial artist that I'm telling y'all about, the MMA fighter from China, he proved that out right in every single fight. I mean, he hardly even had to kick the people. He just was punching them for the most part, and they didn't really stand much of a chance. Y'all can go and watch that guy's clips online, by the way, folks, of the fights that he was in. The Chinese tried to stop most of those actually from getting out, but a decent amount of them actually did. And if you watch the guy fight any of these people, I mean, it's like a hands down, no contest victory on his end. And what was even crazier is that in some instances, the Chinese, the Chinese judges that would judge the fight at the towards the end of this guy's kind of like career in China fighting these folks, basically the Chinese Communist Party would pick the judges, so they try and like disqualify him or say that he lost, although he was beating the hell out of these people because of A, B, and C reasons, even though the other guy clearly was just getting absolutely hammered the whole fight, like the minute or two that it would last. So, you know, it was really...
Have you heard of Makbara?
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, that's a Klingon martial arts. Like a man, jeez, man, that took a minute to sink in there. You went,
Now, I was getting ready for you to say something
Also, by the way, just for a fun fact, by the way, the martial arts that you saw the Klingons doing in, like, you know, Star Trek Next Generation, that's actually based on a real martial art called Tai Chi. That's actually an ancient, I believe it's an ancient Chinese, like, moving meditation for the large part, and it's based on that. So, like, the breathing techniques and stuff like that you see, like, the Klingons doing and stuff like that, it's based on Tai Chi.
I mean, you know, that's interesting, but it's like, you know, that's acting on a stage. It's like, does that stuff stand up in real practice? It's like compared to Zhu Xiaodong, it's like, no, it did not. Like he was beating the snot out of people.
Well, you know, martial arts is like half of it's about like you know, a mindset type thing. Like you have to get in the right mindset for most of these martial arts. You know, like in theory of it, you're supposed to before you start actually practicing technique.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, he was fighting legit, like, the Chinese had declared these people the masters of their martial art, like karate and kung fu and stuff, in China. He was legitimately fighting the quote-unquote Chinese-sanctioned masters in a country of 1.4 billion people, with most everyone in China in school learning at least one of those martial arts, like karate or kung fu. And he was knocking the snot out of these guys. Those are supposedly the best in China. And it's like, you know, it's like, if they aren't in the right mindset, nobody else is in the right mindset, because these are literally the masters of the art, like the martial art itself.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I can't speak for most other martial arts, but Zhu Xiaodong, all Chinese martial arts are not really that good. You know, it's basically just more so form and like looking cool than it is actually effectively fighting. And also on top of that, folks, I mean, if something's teaching you like how not to throw a punch and basically just defend and then beat an opponent by defending, I mean, how bogus is that? To win, you eventually, like in any concept, you eventually have to go on the offensive to win. You can't always be on the defensive and win somehow that way. So it's like, you know, that's really weird logic there. But anyways, for that, we are on to the next one.
Let's have one more super chat. It goes to Vandal Global. He said, would Bruce Lee have a chance versus Krav Maga?
I don't know. I wouldn't be personally. But with that, we are on to the next one.
someone in the chat said I practice Glock martial arts in my that's a different level martial art right there. Bending metal or metal bender. You know what's that thing? What's that thing called? The air bender. Like what's that? Isn't that some movie or something like that?
That's Avatar. Yeah, that's a little.
Yeah, this Avatar right there. A little air bender. They got that metal bender out there bending that lead. But anyway, so moving into our next one here. So we go to Angela Bama, and thank you very much for that $50 support, by the way. We do appreciate that. They said thanks for always being here with the news.
And thank you so much for the support, and thank you for enjoying us being here with the news. I gotta say, humongous thanks to you so much once again for that support and helping us even on a Sunday. And so big thanks to you once again. And with that, we are on to the third to last question of the night.
This one goes to Game Cade, who said, "A good evening, and I haven't heard about the Mexico situation. Did it simmer down?"
Generally, it's kind of simmered down. I mean, there's still some fighting going on in the Jalisco state, but it's not to the degree that it once was. So luckily, it's largely died down at this point. So I hope that does address that the best I can. And with that, we are on to the third to last question of the night.
I thought this was the second to last question of the night.
Oh, second to last. Sorry, I misspoke right there.
So this one goes to AF Kaplan, who said, if striking power plants is not a good idea, then what would be a better alternative beyond liberating the Strait of Hormuz? Cyber attacks, perhaps?
I would generally say attacking their energy infrastructure shouldn't be on the table at all, where we're having to try and come up with an alternative to take it down. I think it's best to just leave that up and running, because it really is going to have no impact on the war rather than increasing the suffering of the Iranian people, which is going to start turning them against their cause. So I would say that the best alternative to that would be to do nothing, if we're speaking about trying to do something similar to that, and just work on the martial side of things, which is clearing out the strait and resuming the flow of traffic, because that's really the only way they're hurting us. Also, by the way, folks, I have to bring up something, because I know that this is well off of, like, just off left field. I have to show you all this because I found this really interesting. I just had to share it with y'all. I mean, it's cool to me. It's probably going to be cool to y'all. Did y'all know that Lego came out with a Ford Model T?
Now that is left field.
It is left field. But you know why? I found out today it actually has a lifting hood that actually has an engine inside. And I thought that was really cool.
That is crazy.
That is legit. I mean, like, I had to share that with y'all because I was like, I cannot let y'all know. I cannot let y'all not know about something like this. If y'all don't know about it, I mean, this thing is actually pretty sick looking. And it's one of the early era Model Ts, too, so it had the solid white rubber tires because they hadn't figured out how to dye the rubber yet. So it just ended up being solid white. Looks pretty cool. But anyways, with that, we are on to the final question of the night. And so, who is like last person through the lucky last question of the night?
And that viewer is Marie Jacobs, who said, if we did take Garg Island, would Iran send missiles into there?
Oh, bless you.
That was a rolling sneeze there. Excuse me. This one goes to Marie once again, who said, if we did take Garg Island, would Iran send missiles into their own land to hit American soldiers and risk hitting their own oil facilities? And thank you for all the research.
And thank you for the great question. And the answer to that is yes. Generally, the Iranians operate off of a scorched earth tactic, or at least we would assume they would, because they're radically driven by their ideology. So we would assume that they probably would conduct attacks of that kind. So I hope that does address that the best I can. And we have reached the end of tonight's stream. I have to thank you all so much once again for watching. And I have to say that tonight's fundraiser has been absolutely incredible. Absolutely mint. We have raised $3.6 thousand for the Gary Sinise Foundation, which is an absolutely incredible way to round out the night after a tremendous amount of news. I have to thank the 187,000 people who have been here over the course of the stream. We're entirely honored and greatly appreciative to have had all of y'all here. And we're also entirely honored and greatly appreciative to have had 14.3 thousand of y'all still here at the end of the stream. And at the peak, we had 27,000 people here. That's truly unbelievable. And I got to thank you all so much once again for watching. And we will see you all on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time to cover the next 24 hours of the news from around the world. Is a short war video to be made tomorrow. I'll be the one making the short war video, and if there is any breaking news that happens that's absolutely crazy, we will be making sure to go live and cover that news. And so with that, we will see you all then. Good night, good luck, take care, stay safe. Slava Ukraini, Gerom Slava, long live the Eastern Army, and long live the Republic.
And with that, folks, we will see you all definitely on Tuesday night, if I can speak right there, at 10 p.m. Eastern for our next Nightly War News stream. And if there is something that happens tomorrow and the U.S. actually carries out their 48-hour threat, then we'll likely be live probably tomorrow evening, I'd imagine. So we'll have to see if that's the case. But if not, and nothing happens tomorrow, we'll definitely see you on Tuesday. And also, be sure to join Enforcer at midday for that video as well, unless we're running a live stream. We'll have to see. We're playing tomorrow by ear quite a lot. If something happens, we'll be here. If not, we'll see a video. But we appreciate you all, 190,000 plus people, for joining us tonight and choosing us as your news source. And of course, we'll see you all in the next one. And of course, Slogan Train, here on Slava. Get some rest and good night.
It was a close game. We might call it on that one. Well, boys and girls, that was a fucking hot set of matches. I'm gonna fucking wind down. I got some things to think about. Hold on. We can chat for a second. Oh, gotta check you all on guard. Up with the fucking account. You never know. We got it. I'm gonna fucking and we're gonna call it. That's the name of the game. Love you all. We had a good time. Money Beatles out.